Think about it. 4 years, $1 billion.
We're going, bro. We're recording. It's on. You ready for this?
I'm ready. You ready? Let's get it.
Dude.
Get my juice on.
Yeah. We got some major rain going on. I was outside, 35 degrees, getting rained on. Loving every single second of it, man. I was hearing somebody the other day talk about how like rain releases oxygen into the air, so it kind of makes you feel high.
Do you need to have rain to do that, though?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But like, I just feel a little high, bro.
Hell yeah. Thank you to the rain for getting my brother high.
Thank you to so many people for getting me high. Specifically, the future. The future's getting me high right now. But
Oklahoma City, baby.
it's the finer things in life, baby. It's like the caviar of basketball. The Oklahoma City Thunder. You better have some sophisticated taste, because we're not going to fly with any of that bullshit. This ain't juvenile, man. We're coming at you. We believe that this team is the future, not just of basketball, but of all sports. And when people look at how you can build a championship contender from the ground up and what it means, like, this is the case study that people are going to be looking at. So, yeah, I mean, we didn't win the game last night or the other night.
No.
As much as I would have loved to win that game, bro, and that would have been fucking awesome, we didn't. But what we did see was some great basketball. We saw the refs come back, the 2-minute report, and say they blew a call. They should have put Shea on the free throw line. Now, they said a few other things in the court. Yeah, they blew 6 calls, right? But that was that one where the one ref is looking at it, and he's getting ready to pull a block, and he points over at the other ref, and the ref pulls a charge, going the other way, game over. Just like that.
Dude, it was just frustrating. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I get it. If Shea wasn't... this is the all-star call. This is it. You know, this is the... We've seen him get some calls recently, but this is the all-star call. These refs did not respect Russ for whatever reason.
Or Shea, yeah.
Or Shea, I'm sorry. Ha.
It's all good, dude.
But, I don't know, man. I can't hate the man, because the reality is he did exactly what we wanted him to do. Drive to the hole with under 5 seconds to go. Like, what else do you want? Like,
there's a good defensive play. They put the pressure on the refs to make the call, and they got the call they wanted at home. That type of stuff happens, like you said. But if it's a superstar call, then he gets put on the free throw line. But all right, that's the previous game, and there's a lot to talk about. Things good, bad. We like the way that we played overall. Like, let's face it, like, the Pelicans are good.
Yeah,
they didn't have CJ out there, but they still had Zion, and they look legit. And I like some of the young
players.
Very deep
team.
They're drafting well, you know. And so the thing that I really want to talk about from the game isn't necessarily as much as like the gameplay, but that fall Shea took. You were just telling me that it looks like he's going to be out this coming game.
Yeah, like, it says game time decision, but we all know what that means in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. So the game time decision indicator would say that we're probably not dealing with like, a major injury, right? But there is a very good likelihood. There's like, you might as well bet that Shea's not going to play against the Spurs, because we don't play game time decision if they're like in that situation. That's just not where we're at.
All right. I'm starting to get excited about this game, because I get excited about this every game like this. But I get excited because every single time that Shea sits out, Josh shines, because he goes back to his familiar role. Are we talking about Josh getting an easy triple-double tonight?
No, nothing's easy. And the Spurs are as familiar with Josh probably as any team in the league right now.
True.
And if it was like Shea wasn't going to play, I mean, if Shea was going to play and then he didn't play, that'd be one thing. But if it looks like Shea's not going to play and they're building their game plan around Shea not being there, you know Josh is going to be circled. That's going to be a difficult thing. But they don't know what we know about Josh, which is he's really transitioned from being that like traditional go get the ball, bring it up the court type point guard, pass it up the court, make the first. Now he's really transitioned into being more of a playmaker. Some people would say not a very good one, but that's because people...
They can fuck off.
Yeah, they can fuck off. There you go. But the reality is, when you watch the highlights of this team play, he's getting downhill. He's making the right pass. He's finishing over people. All right? But then again, he's missing some shots. He's missing some passes. And he's having some turnovers. But what we see is a 20-year-old who is far and away one of the most advanced 20-year-olds we've ever seen. And granted, he's not really familiar, I would say, with the type of game he's being required to play this year. Last year, he was really comfortable. You said, like, back to his comfort zone. Like, he's comfortable in that position. But we're pushing him outside of his comfort zone. We're saying, you've got the ability to be more than just a point guard. And so even though I do think he's going to take on more of that role, I don't think that he's just going to go back into this, okay, you bring the ball up the court role. I think they're still going to be like, get down the court, catch the ball on the perimeter, shoot if you're open, get downhill if you can, kick out. We need that type of playmaking without Shea.
Well, and if you take Josh and you put Josh into Shea's position, and he does exactly what Shea does,
right?
Josh is going to have 20-plus points, 10-plus assists, and 12 rebounds. That's what will happen. Now, if Josh goes out there and we've decided to keep Josh in his role play, we keep Josh in his spot, and we use that point guard position and bring Trey Mann or somebody like that off the bench to play that point guard position. I mean, that would be good too. I mean, listen, Coach D knows what's going on. He already knows what he wants to highlight and who he wants to play tonight. So we don't need to break down that stuff. But I just like the idea of Josh running the show for a night. Like, hey, see what you can do, Josh. Like, here you go. He does it with some of the second team anyways already. So I don't know, man. Like, I want to see what he can do. Like, let him out there. Let the horse loose. Let him see what he can do, and see if he can put up like an insane triple double tonight.
Yeah, why not? And let's talk about it. Like, when we see players go down, like, we can have a mentality of like, woe is us and life is tough. We could even go into it and be like, oh, we probably won't win this game. But that's not how we look at any of this stuff. What we look at is who else has an opportunity to step up. Shea's been taking, I don't know, I'm going to pull a number out of my ass, but plus or minus around 20 shots a game.
Yeah.
Right? I would just say those 20 shots have to go somewhere. So I'm looking at Trey Mann. I'm looking at J-Dub. And, somebody who we haven't really mentioned this podcast yet, but Ousmane Dieng, he's been playing some good minutes for us. And, yeah. I mean, that's you can't argue with that.
Yeah. We need a big game from Isaiah Joe tonight. I just want to throw that out there.
There you go.
If he's going to play at all tonight, we need him to shoot well because if we're getting into a shooting match, Isaiah Joe is the perfect person to go out there and hit. We saw him hit 7 out of 10 threes the other day and 9 threes in a row, which is a Thunder record. So, we need this type of play from our players out there, and it's kind of nice to see how these guys are all starting to find their roles. But Trey Mann is a great backup point guard that can play that role very well, and I'm excited about them because yes, you look at their box scores and it's not consistent, but the one thing that's consistent is they're playing meaningful minutes. It's not like they're going out there and like Trey Mann missed nine 3-pointers the other night. He's just not going out there and shooting 9 threes and that's it. This isn't like old school basketball where Allen Iverson or Carmelo Anthony does one thing, score, and not play defense and nothing else. Like these guys are contributing out on the floor and still picking up big minutes because of it. Yes, their shot's not falling in, but Trey Mann still had 2 or 3 steals and tip basketballs, and I think he had a kickball too that reset the shot clock, which was a good situation for us at that point. So you see these guys that are still picking up big time minutes. Like what else do you guys need? Like I understand that the box scores aren't being filled out, but not every player that we have is going to be a superstar. They're role players. Like we have them for certain reasons. Trey Mann needed to spread the floor for us. Isaiah Joe needed to spread the floor for us. they're playing Shea in such a manner that we needed to spread the floor. So I don't know, man. I'm just kind of looking at it and watching it and just kind of seeing how it all turns out. But I get excited about these young guys, and having Isaiah Joe to mentor Trey Mann, if that's what he's there to do, is huge for Trey Mann, because Isaiah Joe is a phenomenal shooter. And I've said it before, is just time is what he needs. And if he can go out there, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to have one of those games where he's going to hit 10 or 12 threes in the game, just because he's that good, and once he gets going, nobody can stop him.
All right, but you're not going to earn minutes because you can hit shots for this team.
Exactly.
Like, you're going to earn minutes because of what you can do on the defensive end. And that's why Trey can play out there and miss 9 threes. And honestly, I didn't remember that. I know it happened, but like, if he's impacting the game on the defensive end, and then, he's shooting the shots when he's open, he's not like forcing it, then we're going to have him do that. And we recognize that some games will be like that, and some games are going to be, he's just going to light it up and hit 6 out of 9. So,
right.
We'll take 6-9 anytime we can get that, every single time. So,
O'Day.
What we got to look at is, how can a player like Isaiah Joe impact the game on the defensive end? Then find a way to be out there, when the ball finds him late in the shot clock, or Shea or Giddey drive and kick it to him.
Mm-hmm.
How does Isaiah Joe make that defensive impact? And you've already seen him doing it. He's one of the best on the team already at drawing charges. Like, his size makes him just like capable of really sneaking in there. He sets his feet, he takes the contact, and a lot of times the players don't even realize they ran into him, or like they act like it anyway, right? Because I saw one time he did that on the Joker, and it's just like, where's that guy? That's where we're at. Like, if Isaiah Joe can make that contribution, if Trey Mann can make that contribution, we're gonna recognize that. Yeah, we'll get pumped if they hit some shots on top of that, but that's bonus. That's like year 3, year 4, year 5 type stuff for these guys. It's not, you don't come in and draw a charge, get a steal, and knock down a 3 every game, but you can draw a charge and get a steal every game.
Yeah, and it's not having a player out there that is a defensive liability, and recognizing that we have, in a way, a very sophisticated defense, like simple, yes, but sophisticated. And understanding your role isn't something that is an easy thing to do. So you look at Isaiah Joe and you're like, okay, he gets it because he's stepping up and getting charges. And then he lets a guy get back door or whatever, and it's like, okay, he still has ways to go. But you look at somebody like Trey Mann, and Trey Mann's not letting that guy go back door very often. Like once out of, I don't know. He sticks with it because he's long. He can stick with it. And I think there's a difference when you're seeing a young man go out there and just dominate on defense. And he shot 1 for 16 in threes in the last 2 games. But he's still out there. And last game he got 23 minutes. Like, coaches believe in him. He's going through a shooting drought. That's not something that's like shame on Trey Mann and everybody bash Trey Mann time, Like, that's not what this is.
People are doing it, though.
What's that?
People are doing it.
Yeah, but that's because, like, if you look at Oklahoma City Thunder, the toxicity is deep. You look at the fan base and all these people that are the writers and the podcasters, and they're all just super negative about every single thing that they can. It's like, let me show you how smart I am by pulling up all the negative stuff.
Right.
And to us, it's like, why don't we just show you how smart we are, or how smart our fan base is, by just telling you the good things? Because, yeah, you're right. Everybody sees the bad things. You don't need somebody to repeat it, because guess what? Like, everybody that listens to those podcasts are like, here's a bad thing. And everybody's like, I saw that too. I saw that too. And it's like, means shit.
Right. We lose, and then everybody just, turns on everybody. But we know this. It's like, fan bases can do whatever they want. But having been a coach of a team that, made a run into, like a tournament, you understand that hostile environments sometimes come from all different angles. And you don't know when you're going to encounter one. But when you have a team that can rely on each other and they can come together as a unit, then you have a team that's ready to start taking on bigger challenges, go into 7-game series, those types of environments. But if you have a team that they all start pointing fingers at each other, they have a tough game like we had a couple of games ago where we got blown out by the Rockets. Like, how do you respond to that type of adversity? Because pressure can do two things. It can splinter a group or it can force them to come together. That's what we're looking at. That's why the players that we have are on this team. It's because either they're a part of the young core or they're people who, like Kenny, like Mike, who can really guide the young players by saying, like, we're gonna stick together through the thick and thin. Look, if the fans did that, like if we had educated media that was teaching the fans how to support a young group, that would be fantastic too. But you can't always get what you want. Sometimes you just got to go out and do it yourself. And that's why we do it, because we think in the end, you can look at it, the past history of the Thunder, and say, yeah, we went through, a run and then we jumped and we started winning 50 games. Yeah, but who's there documenting that transition? Now, we can look at some of the other podcasts who are like shitting on our players and they have bad games, talking about Josh Giddey's limitations or why Trey Mann won't be a big time player or whatever they want to, put limits on things. On the other hand, we can look at it and say, where was the player last year? Where were they when they went to the offseason? Where are they now? Can we start projecting a trajectory on their improvement, on their physical commitment to the game, to improving their bodies, to improving their health, their stamina, the way they eat food, all that stuff? When you see a championship level team, all that stuff is clicking. So, yeah, we're at a young, inexperienced stage. Great. Let's hand the ball to J-Dub and see what the fuck he can make of it, because I really believe in this guy. I believe in this young group. I believe in these rookies that we have. Shout out to Thunder Argentina fan on Twitter. He posted a picture of all of our rookies. That's why I get pumped up. And last year's rookies still get me pumped up. And next year's rookies get me pumped up. But this isn't about rookies. This is about championships. And sometimes it can be confusing because some people just want to sit back and wait till the team is good to start analyzing it. Well, fine. But we're going to call you a casual fan.
Yeah, man. And real quick sidestep right here. I'm keeping my eye on the Australian football game right now. It's against Denmark, guys. Australia just scored, so they're up 1-0. That's a hell of a game going on in the World Cup right now. Definitely rooting for Australia here. So get the win. All right. Anyways, but back to the Thunder. I like what you said there, and I think the understanding of being patient and understanding what to cheer for and what to, and in essence, turn the blind eye on.
Right. You got to know the difference between something that's worth criticizing and something that's just worth observing and letting go.
Yeah, and there's two type of fans I look at. There's the type of fan that looks at the players and they're going to cheer for the good things. Right. And then there's the type of fans that boo for all the bad things. Right, man? Like those are the dads that scream at their kids in the stands. Those are the people that are upset and angry all the time. I get frustrated when I'm sitting next to those type of people at at basketball games, because I'm there to enjoy a good time, not observe all the bad shit that happens. There's no win situations right here. And I look at this and I look at the way the Thunder is growing this organization, and you have to take a step back and say, you know what? We could make the playoffs this year if everybody stays healthy. But we might not, because everybody doesn't stay healthy. And that's not a shame on everybody and this or that. It's, you know what? We'll move on. And this will get better. And as the time goes and these guys are developing, we're taking these years and it's like, okay, this was where we wanted to be this year, but it didn't get there. This is where we ended up. But we end up with this player because of it. Or we ended up with this particular situation and we got this player. So it's just about taking a deep breath and recognizing, like, things will happen. Maybe not the time that we want it to happen or other people want it to happen, but they will happen.
And when they do, we'll be there front row watching all this shit because we know that the type of improvement that it takes isn't automatic. And there's a lot of players who don't make those leaps. But we believe in our organization's ability to develop players, and we believe in the players that we've been drafting. And one of the hardest things to do is talk about the positives of a player going down with injury, because you don't want to talk about an injury being positive. But there is something about this organization that takes adversity and turns it into opportunity. And when you have an organization that's committed to that, like, it means every single time that you hit a hurdle or a speed bump, you're coming away saying, well, this is a chance for someone else to step up. This is a chance for someone else to take on a bigger role than they're used to, or, you know, be more of a prominent person, whether it be initiating the offense or attacking closeouts, or, you know, taking on more of that Shea role. Maybe nobody takes on that Shea role. Maybe we focus on, you know, swinging the ball in a different way so that when he comes back, we have new skill sets. I don't know. But that's how this works. You'll see a team sometimes in college, and I don't really pay attention to college basketball as much anymore, but you would see a team lose an All-American level player early in the season. The rest of the guys would get to the point where they were winning games, right? The player comes back, now they're a championship contender. Whereas before, it was like, well, they're one player deep. Like, we don't want to talk about this like it's a positive. Shea's obviously in pain. That was a painful fall. But these other guys have to look at this and say, this is my opportunity. Like, if they're sitting there feeling bad for Shea that Shea's not playing, they're doing it wrong. They got to be looking at it and saying, how am I going to impact the game? How am I going to earn more minutes for the next game? How can I show coach what I've been working on is a part of a big team picture? It's not like, oh, I've been working on in isolation type situations. No. That's why when you see Jang out there, you're like, damn. Like, I see Jang, and I don't see just Jang. I see investment from coaches. I see investment from our training staff. I see investment from the other players on the G League. Some of those other guys have multiple years of experience. And Jang is there, and they're putting their arm around him and saying, like, hey, you got a chance to go back up to the bigs. You know, like, there's a great book I have behind me. Johnny Bench wrote it. Johnny Bench is an Oklahoman. He went on to play for the Cincinnati Reds. He was a catcher for multiple championships for the Reds. But when I read his book, he always gave credit to his success to these two minor league pitchers who took him aside when he first got to the minor leagues and taught him how to see a curveball, taught him how to hit a curveball. And when he went on to the major leagues, that was really his biggest attribute. Catchers didn't have to hit like they have to hit now, but he really was the main man behind the plate for those big red machine wins for Cincinnati. And I look at it like that, like for Jang. Like, he can go out there and be like, oh, I'm already going back up to the NBA. I'm on a 2-way contract. There's nothing you guys can teach me, right? Anybody can act like that. Like, in fact, the people who know the least usually act like that the most, right? But he can go in and say, I've got an opportunity to learn, improve, work on the systems, feel more comfortable. And then all of a sudden you see him get out there and he's playing at a different level. I mean, how many times have we seen a player get benched, right? Because you could argue that's what happened with Jang, but it didn't, right? He went down to the G League, he worked through the system and came back up. But how many times you see a player fall out of the rotation and come back more prepared for the rotation? Very rarely. Very rarely. It's usually someone who, like, is a veteran of 8 years. They understand, like, they're Mike Muscala type guys, right? They understand they're going to get their opportunities later, and then all of a sudden they pop up, and then boom, they're ready. Like, young players don't have that type of capacity because they don't understand the ebb and the flow of an 82-game season, and only once you've been around it for a few times do you. So Jang, to me, is like the player that you want to look at and say, you want to assess how is our player development going? How is our player scouting going? How is our team defense going on the G League? How is our offense going? All of these things you can watch and you can see it just in one player, and that's awesome.
Yeah, but, we can look across the board with that, too. We
That's
can
true.
look, like all of our players that have played significant G League time, and the list is very long for this team. I'm really appreciative of having an opportunity to be able to watch these guys play both G League and NBA minutes.
Let me ask you, bro, are you watching G League? Because I'm not.
Yeah, here's the thing about I'm watching as much as I can possibly find out there.
Yeah.
I don't have the G League pass this year, which sucks because I should get it. And most of the games,
I should buy it for you just so you can tell us what we're seeing.
most of the games you can find a couple days later on different platforms. So I'm always a few games behind, but I'm seeing Jang, and I'm hyper focused on Jang and Williams, Jay Will, guys like that I know are going to play in the NBA soon. And I just like the way that these guys are playing. I like the way they're hustling and learning the offense. And it's I don't look at the G League as anything other than an education. And that's all. Like, this is how these guys are running this stuff up there. This is what we're doing. We're doing all the same drills. We're doing the shooting drills. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're all practicing in the same areas. This is what we need from you guys. It's, to me, it's an organizational thing. It's not these guys are in Tulsa and we're in Oklahoma City. It's everybody's in Oklahoma City. The players that are in G League are working out with G League and everybody else on the varsity, essentially. The varsity.
Yeah, but that's what it feels like. It feels like there's so much unity that it is a JV and a varsity, or it is. I mean, even the name Blue versus having their own identity, it just feels like it is, and that's unique. You've talked about it going back since the beginning of this podcast when you started bringing up Branch Rickey and how he modernized the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, really, he modernized all of baseball by utilizing the minor leagues. Here we are, Sam Presti. Seems like he's pulling off the same thing. And when you say JV or kind of like that, it indicates that they are the same. They are two parts of the same unit. Yeah, that's important.
Sure, and it was very important when he was pushing to move the Oklahoma City Blue to Oklahoma City. There was the Tulsa Blue before, and he wanted everything centralized. He wanted everything right there so that he could have a hand in it. And it's not like, oh, now you got to go to Tulsa, pack your bags. It's, hey, you're gonna work out with the G League or the Blue team for the next couple of weeks. And nothing against you, but it creates stability as well. Like, if you look at the rotation, it's these guys are gone for like 10, 14 days, right? Mm-hmm. And then they get sporadically put back in. And then they'll leave a little bit again, and then they'll come back, and then they'll leave and come back, and then by the end of the season, they're ready to go.
And Poku's a great example, right?
Yeah. Oh, Poku, you got J.R.E. had some great minutes in the Oklahoma City Blue.
Yeah, and Dort too. And there's more. Dort. But when I look at Poku, I think you have a player who really can embody that whole process. Because
you know what gave it away? Where Poku, they were trying to teach him the center position.
The Blue. Huh.
The Blue. It's because you go down to the Blue to play your position. And in the Blue, he was playing the center position. And I'm watching him like, why is, Poku struck me as a small forward guy. Why is he playing a center position? And then it just hit me. It was like, because they want him playing center. And it was just like, oh my God. And then I started watching him as a center. Not as a power forward, not as a small forward, as a center. And it all started clicking. It was just like, holy fucking shit. This guy's going to be next level. And it's all
isn't
because
it crazy,
what's that?
So many people, isn't it crazy that so many people decided that he wasn't going to be a good player? Like, so early into, like, he's a teenager and his shot is flat. He's throwing behind the back passes to nobody sometimes. Right? He's got this freeness to his play that is concerning to old timer fans, right?
Sure.
And they're just like, okay, well, you know what? You can't win them all. Poku's loss. I mean, that was a major. People were calling him a bust after the first year. I'm like, how can you make that assessment? Like, I've been around the game since I've been tiny, man, tiny. And I'm always hesitant to make that call.
Yeah,
always very hesitant. But fans of the team decide they're like, and it happens so often. It's like with Giddey, everything was good as a rookie. And then sophomore, everything is bad. Well, with Poku, he never got that. He got everything's bad as a rookie, everything's bad as a sophomore, and then people were like, well, who's that guy we already gave up on? Like, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah. I remember when we had one of our podcasters out there in the Oklahoma City. We won't say who it is.
We won't say them.
But they were listening to our podcast and they're making fun of me because I said that Poku was going to end up being like a guy that was going to be a top 10 shot blocker in the NBA. And they like just ripped into me about it. this to me isn't about that. This is recognizing when you see Osman Jang go down in the G League and you're seeing him play his role down there and you're seeing him understand his role, right? It's about understanding it. It's about understanding that these guys aren't your typical young men that are slow and, they take time to observe and absorb things. Like, these guys are getting it fast. And it's like watching Jang in the G League. It's like, okay, you know what? Like, it's not about the eye-popping numbers that we want to see in the G League. It's not that, like, I'm sure if you want to look at some numbers, I'm sure he would have a couple eye-popping here and there, but it's about the consistency. It's like, this is the same type of stuff we want to see him play in the Thunder. We don't want him to go out there and we're not expecting him to go out there and average 20 points a game. We're asking him to go out there and be consistently good. Play your role, play defense, attack the hole when you get an opportunity. And if you're wide open for a three, take your three. It's a simple concept.
It is. And it's hard. One of the things that can make it harder is impatient fans, but that's okay. That's part of it, right? These are professionals. They get paid a lot more money than the average person to do something that's considered a game. Sometimes you see it, and it can really start to enter the spot where it's no longer a game, right? This is a man's livelihood, and people are criticizing that person on how they do their job, and it can become very personal. And we saw it happen. We saw it happen with Russ. I mean, do you remember? I remember the first time I felt like, oh shit, Russ isn't just a Robin to KD's Batman. You know what I mean? I remember watching him go out there, and the moment was when when Russ went down, and KD was left by himself out in the playoffs, I think against the Rockets. But then we beat the Rockets, I think, and then the next series we played the Grizzlies, and it was like they could trap him before he caught the ball. I never saw that one before. It was just like, run the trap at him. We'll go 3-on-4 anytime. That's how the Grizzlies played him. And all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, dude, Russ is that good. Like, I knew Russ was a blur. I knew Russ was this, Russ was that, but I didn't realize how much the other team's defense was constantly accounting for Russ. Yeah. And it even got to the point where KD's defender would start helping over a bit. And I remember talking to our friend Adam, and I was like, dude, Russ is an MVP. This is not, Russ is a backup. Like, Russ is an MVP. And it really came down to, are they going to figure it out together? Now, we don't have to rehash all of this again. But the point is, we're here to tell you what things can be like, right? We can tell you, like, the good things because we can look at patterns, right? We can see rhythms. We can extrapolate, we can start projecting, and we can come up with these a little bit far-fetched, but a lot of times they come true, like you saying Poku has a chance to be one of the shot block leaders in the league. These things can happen. A lot of times, though, some of the stuff won't happen. And then that leaves people like, oh, you guys are wrong. Like, it's not about being right all the time, right? Yeah. All these people who want to be right all the time, they get stuck criticizing people, and then they end up being wrong later, but they don't... They don't reanalyze their opinions. No. We, on the other hand, try to talk in a way that reminds us of what Sam Presti said, which is try to see things the way they will be instead of for the way they are. And that's what we always try to bring it back to. It's not about a 0 for 9 performance. It's about the 3 steals, because if he goes 4 for 5 and 3 steals, we're talking about a great performance. And these are the progressions that we can make as fans, and we love being a part of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole idea of what we're trying to create with all of our fans from all over the world is a safe place to come and talk about the Thunder. We understand that's not going to always be what you want to hear. Because we do go out and we do break down things that are in such a way that people aren't going to always typically agree or understand in a way that we understand. But I look at this Oklahoma City Thunder team, and we decided to start this podcast when we knew it was going to be the lowest of the low. Right? We knew that this was going to be the dog days of the Thunder. We did that because all we heard and everything we heard was tank, 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 tank. And we knew that the narrative was wrong and it had to be switched. It had to be changed. And that's why we started this. And it had dwarfed into this whole idea of just staying positive about this team. And that's what we've always tried to consistently try to do, is the words that we say about this team is positive. Like, we might talk trash on the other Oklahoma City Thunder podcast or whatever because we don't like what they're saying and they're being nasty about our team. But that's where we have the issues with. Yeah. You know, we're not out there picking on them. I mean, well, I'm not out there picking on them for their facial hairs or anything else like that. But I'm out there picking on them for being a dickhead, for talking shit on this team and throwing uneducated ideas about what this team is out there. And that's what we have to stop. And we have to say, this is why we want this team to be better. This is why we see this team to be better than what everybody's saying they are. And that's why we get this positive vibe when we're out there saying, stop talking shit about Josh, because we love Josh. We think Josh is the next best playmaker of the NBA. And we love the way that he plays. We're the ones that were saying, stop talk shit about Poku. You know, like, we told people to get Poku jerseys. Like, we bought into Poku, the idea of Poku very early on. So, again, it's just one of those things that, to me, I appreciate you, Mark, for the idea of us being on here and starting this. And as we're learning how to be better for you guys, like, Mark and I are geeking out about new ideas right now, and we've got some pretty cool stuff coming, and it's gonna be fun.
Before we go too far, dude, I wanna throw one out though, because I feel like we're being positive. I wanna go back negative real quick. You know who's a real cunt?
All right, let's tell us.
All right, Mikey from Down to Dunk. Oh my God, he always counts Russ's shots. Not Russ's, but it feels like Russ's back in the old day. But Dort's shots, and then he moves them over in his head. And he teaches people how to do this. He moves them over to Shea, right? Then he takes Shea's average, right? He applies it to those shots, and then says we would have won by this many points if we had just shifted Dort's shots to Shea. And he thinks he's a fucking expert because he's been watching basketball since 2017. Dude. And he's doing this, and it's the same pattern that Barry Trammell pioneered. That Daily Thunder took off with and really built their reputation on. And now we're sitting here and we're looking at it and it's repeating itself. We cannot allow this to happen. He is shooting those shots because it's an important part of our team's progression. If that means we lose a game because Trey Mann or Dort go 0 for 9 or whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah. They're going to get back in. They're going to work hard. They're a part of this team. They're a part of this family, and we support everyone. We're not going to look at it and say, Shea had 40, this guy had 3, give him his shots, we win. Let's just do that, because if you do that and you take those shots out of those people's hands, they will never improve. So let's just stop with this fanciful bullshit where we think that we can play general manager on NBA 2K and just like orchestrate wins by telling people how many shots to shoot. There's a reason that people like that aren't running our organization. We used to have people like that who ran our organization. There's a reason we have a new mentality, and we're trying to usher in the new mentality into the fans because we see it within the players in the organization.
Yeah, man. I look at Mikey and I think that
poor
he's
guy,
one of those
honestly,
dudes.
mental midget, you know?
Well, you know those guys that when like you're measuring the size of your cock on like a ruler, you know, that literally measure the length of your cock, you know, like you put it up on the table, it's the length of the cock. And then there's those guys that like, they decide to like measure where your asshole starts because they just want to have that couple extra inches, you know, they can talk about. Yeah. Like that's what Mikey does.
Because you can't really use it, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. Like he wants to get that extra 2 inches that he can tell all of his friends about that he has, you know, like just
that would put him at 2.5 inches.
I mean, it's more than most. Anywho,
we better not change the subject because I feel like we're finally on a roll. I mean, it's been a while since we really started picking on somebody, but ever since Mikey and Andrew went after our players with that racist rant that I talked to the Athletic about and try to get them to remove, I don't really care if we talk about his tiny dick or his mental midgetness because let's face it, these guys deserve a lot more. So my only point is this. if you perceive, anybody listening, if you hear people who are shitting on this team, and the way they do it is not by, oh, the Thunder's shit. No, what they do is they pick out players and they ride them. Challenge them. Stand up to them. Don't let them think just because they started watching basketball when the Thunder made it to the conference finals against the Warriors that they're qualified to analyze this level of development. We were the ones who were there last time. We saw it happen. We're watching it again. We get to fucking write the narrative.
Yeah, and this is simple. Do you guys go to a money manager and hand your money to somebody that's like, I swear to God, I know what I'm doing? You know? Or do you go and you just listen to and look at the people's, portfolio and to see what they've done and what their returns are? Like a money manager is the same idea as far as what I look at as podcasters with the sports teams. Like you're giving your time to these guys.
They protect important things, which is they protect ideas.
Yeah. And the whole idea of what we're trying to create here is like, be positive. That's it. Manage your time, manage your money, manage your ideas with this team, and everything else will make sense. You won't look at this whole idea of, shit, we just lost another game. Yeah. Losing sucks. I hate losing. And I hate saying that, we're trying to have this 82 win mentality, but that's where we're at. Like, we've got to look at this team. If we win 25 games, that's a win. If we win 35 games, that's a win. If we win 45 games, that's a win. It doesn't matter. Why? Because if we win 25 games, that means we won 25 games and we didn't have Shea for most of the season. Yeah. That sucks. But 25 games for these guys is a big win. You
have to be selective of what ideas you let come out of your head. Like, you can't always control what you'll see a bad play and you'll observe it, but it doesn't mean you have to go and walk around being like that defines a person, right? Like it reminds me of, I have a friend I've known since I was probably like 12 or 14, right? He owned a shop, in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas called Field of Dreams. Probably a lot of people know what I'm talking about. It's a little shop there. He's been Pete Rose's agent for years, right? My point is this. I went and saw him when I was in Vegas, and I talked to him, and Pete was there. Pete's the all-time hit king for baseball. He's signing autographs, and he's like, you want one? You want something signed? I'm like, no, I'm all set. Are you sure? It's free. I'll sign anything you want. I'm like, I'm all set. You know why? Because look behind me, man. I got so many autographs, I can't even put them all on display. Like, a Pete Rose signed baseball would become... Probably it wouldn't even enter the top 50 items that I have. I can't take everything that people offer me. Yeah. I've just been around the game for long enough, or games, sports memorabilia collectors games for long enough to know there's certain things you just don't need. And a Pete Rose signed baseball, I'm sorry, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we're talking about here. It's not that everybody doesn't want something. Everybody wants autograph stuff, but you have to decide what you want. You have to decide what ideas are going to leave your brain. You can't just be someone who goes around and just does everything that everybody else does. You have to be selective. Like, what does it take to get an autograph up onto my wall? Like, it takes a hell of a lot more than there's Pete Rose. Hey, nice to meet you, right? Like, I know these people, right? Like, I know John Stockton. I know Karl Malone. I know Scottie Pippen. Like, this isn't like that. And my only point is, I just wanted to brag. That's it. I'm sure I had a different point, but I've lost that point. So I'm just here to pat
we started talking about dick size, and you had to pull out your dick for size, which is great. I'm so glad you did, because sometimes flexing your muscles and letting it know what's up is cool. Because
I'll tell you this: if you think, all right, so here I'm going to embarrass myself now since I said something positive. But Joey, who used to maybe still is Pete Rose's agent, I called him one time because I had an autograph item I wanted to get a value on, and he asked, he's like, how's your dad doing? All right, this is one of the most embarrassing stories, and I've never told anybody, so I hope nobody tells anybody. But I said, he's doing pretty good, he's just selling his balls. And I meant to say the NBA 50 greatest basketball set, but those words did not come out of my mouth. And he said, say what? And without realizing what happened, I repeated myself word for word.
It's all about them balls, baby.
Anyway, so yeah, there. I told everybody how cool I am and told everybody how dumb I am. There, same thing.
It's all good. I mean, as long as your dad's selling his balls, you're good. I mean, shit, that's my dad too, I guess. But anyways,
there was somebody we knew that they would talk about their mom having their dad's balls pickled over the fireplace.
I mean, to each his own, dude. Speaking of pickling your balls over the fireplace,
tell me.
Let's talk about this crazy offer. This crazy offer that was offered to Cristiano Ronaldo.
The pickleball offer.
They offered him 3.5-year contract in excess of $360 million. That's $100+ million a year. First of all, second of all, there's an estimate of $75 to $125 million that he'll make in endorsements in Saudi Arabia. So this isn't just like a little bit of money. This is like you play 4 years and you make $1 billion type money. Have you ever heard of anything like this? And if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, can you say no to this?
You can always say no. Like,
do you want to say no to this?
I understand it's a lot of money, right? But like, there are some times when, I don't know, money comes with attachments. And when there are strings attached to money, you can always say no to that. It doesn't matter how much it is. In fact, when you get to the higher number, like, and you end up like talking about billions, it becomes even more important that you understand where that money came from, right? And that's all I'd say. Like, it's up to him. Like, he can easily probably earn $1 billion doing anything he wants. Like, he could probably go play all sorts of club teams. But yeah, the Saudis are offering the most money right now. We've seen it with, I don't even know how to say it. Is it Live Golf or Live Golf?
Yeah, LIV.
LIV, right? Like, they're on a mission. Now, what is that mission? And if you're going to take money from them, you better at least come to terms with that mission is. You may not want to. That's your prerogative. But, and I'm definitely not going to tell anybody what to do. I mean, that's a lot of money. But I would just say I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take a penny of it. I wouldn't take $1 million of it. I wouldn't even get close to taking $1 billion of it. Because to me, like, I don't know anything about the Saudi League, but it seems to me like it would be the equivalent of like LeBron James taking $1 billion to go play in Taiwan. Like, okay, like, you can do that, but nothing that you do will really matter to me going forward.
I get it. I respect it. I just look at it like a player's 37 years old, has made probably pretty damn close to $1 billion in his career, if not $1 billion. And like, what else do you have to prove? Like, you know, you just got out of a shitty situation for you and your family. Horrible losing your child like he did, like they did. But the reality is that you got to look at your options now. You got 37, and you can go play in America and make, you know, here in America, make good money.
Well, what did Beckham make? I feel like he got like a $250 million contract way back. And MLS is a lot more established.
I don't know if it was 250. I think he was making an absurd amount of money, though, like comparatively to what everybody else was. I think it was like $12 million, and the like average salary was like 250,000.
So like, if Ronaldo goes out and he's like getting paid all this money, but nobody cares, or he could come to the U.S., right? What do you think he would make in endorsement deals with the U.S.? I bet he could rack up.
I think over a 4-year career, and he went to L.A., I think he probably could walk away with $500 million.
Yeah,
in 4 years.
Not only that, but his image would continue to be marketable.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, look at Beckham. Like, he made movie after movie after movie, and he's still making impacts like that. So
yeah. So it's not about the lump sum, because anybody, you know, especially money that, you know, is oil and natural gas, all that type of money. It just boom, 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 the numbers are bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? That's not what it's about. It's about, can you look at yourself in the mirror? And I get it. He likes what he sees when he looks in the mirror, and more money isn't going to bother him. But what would bother me was how that money was, how it reached me. That would be something that I would end up wondering about. Bro, I got nothing wrong with the Saudi soccer clubs or golf tours or anything.
Listen, I have a friend that I sold a car to once that lives in Saudi Arabia. Him and his wife, they live there, and his child. So, he listens to our podcast once in a while. So we'll just leave it at that. But
yeah,
I don't want to cause any issues in saying anything negative. I just look at where it's at with Ronaldo and playing soccer. Is what does he want to accomplish? Is he willing to leave his family and wife and his children?
Right, because that's what you have to
do. For 6 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year. Like that's what he's essentially going to have to give up. And that's why, like, listen, 99% of the time you say no to an offer like this, unless it's this type of money. And then you say, let me talk to my people, let me talk to my wife, let me talk to my managers, let me see where it's at, because, like, you've got to break it down. You've got to figure it out. Like, is shit not going well and your wife wants to move back to an area you don't want to move back to, and you're like, you know what, she's moving back there and I've got to go play someplace in the world anyways, so you know what, might as well maximize my value. Like, I don't know what the situation is, and I'm not going to sit here and try to figure it out, but I do know that when you're talking about this type of money, this much money, like, this would set records, like, straight up, like, unbelievable records. Like, we've never seen
that's the nature
an athlete.
That's the nature of it, right? He, like you said, he's 37. He's probably one of the most recognizable faces in the world. For sure he is. I don't know why I said probably. Fuck that. He is, right? So, like, this isn't a matter of, like, $1 billion or nothing, right? This is a matter of $1 billion or $300 million, which is still a significant difference, but
still a shit ton.
I'm just saying, like, if you got to market your image from, like, 45 to 65. If you give it to the Saudis, they're gonna market you as, someone who's loyal to their brand. If you say, hey, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna pull the David Beckham, I'm gonna be in some movies, I'm gonna hang out with celebrities, I'm gonna earn $250 million and then keep milking that cow after I retire.
Yep.
Like, that's the value of a properly run brand. And on top of that, I think he's from South America, right? Like, this is me showing my ignorance, right? But I think there's a lot of incentives. But in the end, you mentioned something I know nothing about, but you said he lost a child. So
yeah.
All right. So I mean, obviously,
just recently in the last year.
Yeah, like there's some heavy shit there.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you all of it, but the reality is life just goes on sometimes, and that's why they wanted out of Manchester. They needed out of there. They needed out of, his wife was requesting to go back to France area. So, like, it's all about, again, it's about what is going behind the scene, what's going on behind the scenes. Like, does he want to be with his family right now? Does he want to be with his wife? I'm assuming yes to all of that. So, I think you look at Saudi Arabia and you look at that, that's a situation where, a family doesn't need to go right now. So
since we got all carried away with the Saudi Arabia stuff, let's kind of take it back and flip it to basketball real quick. What if they decided they wanted to compete with the NBA? They wanted to create something, because we've seen it happen with golf. We've seen it now, like, at least the idea of it is being brought up in the conversation with Ronaldo. Like, how would we feel if all of a sudden they wanted to have professional basketball teams that were on par pay-wise with the NBA, and they were willing to take less quality players and pay them this massive money, and then all of a sudden our sport was, like, the value or, like, the competitiveness got kind of reduced? I mean, how would that feel?
Well, it's a real thing. I mean, if you don't think that that's not something that's a real idea, that's not being worked out in the background, I mean, we're seeing it happen with all the minor leagues, the G leagues. Like, it just takes a matter of a team or an organization saying, we're going to steal every good player in America and all over the world at age 17 and 18, and we're going to pay them an absurd amount of money, and then we're going to go from there and build it from there. And you start.
Why wouldn't you? Because you have all these overtime elite type stuff. People are getting paid.
I mean, how How many
My
NBA
goodness.
players are done, quote unquote, done by the 26, 27 in the NBA? There's a shit ton.
My guess honestly would be about 85% of the players.
So you just grab those guys. Every year you get a new flock of 15, 20 guys. And then as people are getting paid absurd amount of money, telling everybody, I'm getting paid triple what I would have gotten paid in the NBA, it starts leaking down. It just comes a matter of time before you start seeing, a huge surge like that go over. But it would take at least a 15-year.
But you make a good point about how you would start that. You would go after the kids that aren't being paid anywhere near what they're worth and say, come play over here. I mean, it doesn't have to be Saudi Arabia. It could be really any, like we've seen some of it happening with the NBL already.
Bro, it could be a worldwide organization. It could be a worldwide league. It could be teams all over the world. It could be America. It could be, France. It could be London. I mean, you're talking about a worldwide organization taking over the NBA.
Bro, I love it. We're like into some deep conspiracy theory shit.
But
and it seems
this
real
is the
too.
way the NBA should run anyways, is that they should have
A fucking cartel.
You get to the point where the champion of the NBA goes and plays the champion of other leagues. Why isn't this already happening? Why isn't, the NBA being worldwide? It's just ridiculous to me.
I go back and I think a bit about like David Stern, and I feel like he was trying to move things in that direction, right? Like there was a sense where he was trying to like standardize things like goaltending rules. I remember him being adamant he wanted to remove the NBA's form of goaltending and shift to the international style, which is once the ball's on the rim, it's in play.
Yep.
Right? I think it's interesting, but in the end, it never happened. But we saw different things with the international game kind of standardized toward the NBA, and the NBA start shifting. Why not? Like it used to be back in the day, I feel like whoever won the championship would end up playing the Harlem Globetrotters.
Sure.
Right? Like there's a mentality of like, hey, there's some other good basketball out there.
It's a matter of time before. I mean, I'm sure there's airplanes out there now that will take you and get
fast,
you
bro.
in from America to anywhere in Europe in a matter of a few hours. So
fast, bro. They can do a supersonic jet from LA to New York in 45 minutes. Now they don't run them, but 45
that's
minutes.
what I'm saying is that it's just a matter of time before we can be talking about this. Is that like the teams are literally they're going and doing this, and they have a team in London, they have a team in Australia, they have a team in wherever. It doesn't matter. You go and do an East Coast and you do a West Coast because it takes 60 minutes to get to Australia from the West Coast, and like
60 minutes, and it's like I think it's like 15 hours. I wonder how fast they could do that with supersonic jet.
Bro, you could swim that in 25 minutes tops.
Maybe we should try paddling it before we swim it. That's a big blue wet thingy. I always think about the Muppets, and that's what that guy always would say. Anyway, moving on.
Dude, yes, please move on. Washington Post finally came out with what is. Let's talk about it here, because again, this is the Washington Post, motherfuckers.
Fuckers, get up, get up.
Dan Snyder said he had junk on Jerry Jones, and then everything goes down, and all of a sudden, boom! Washington Post released a photo of 1957 Jerry fucking Jones in the crowd. What seemed like it was protesting black kids coming into the school. Am I correct on that one?
All right, so North Little Rock High School. Jerry Jones, we got to give him credit because his excuse is an all-timer, okay? He says he was curious. So I have a very simple...
What is this, a zoo?
Right.
Why is he carry... Like, come on, Jerry.
I have a very simple
man.
thing to let every listener really consider right now. You have to either decide that he's a racist or he's Forrest Gump. That's it. Because that's what Forrest Gump did. He ended up being there out of curiosity. And I feel like Jerry Jones is looking at that picture saying, man, I hope I can go with the Forrest Gump excuse. And you know what? People are like, hey, he said he's Forrest Gump. You're like, what else can you say? Like, I don't think he's Forrest Gump. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say he's anything else. I'm not going to say anything else about him. I don't think he's Forrest Gump.
Let's just put it out there. I've hated Jerry Jones. I've never been a fan of him. I've always thought he's had some shady fucking antics. A lot of shady fucking antics. And to say that Jerry Jones is a racist and his own fan base probably is like, you know what? He probably had racist tendencies, but that doesn't make you a racist. I'm sorry. If you have racist tendencies, you're a fucking racist. And that's just that. Like, you can't have racist tendencies. You know, my grandparents, man, they came from a time living in South Carolina where everything was like this and that. And, like, listen, people are like, well, listen, your great-grandparents, you know, this, and they just had these type of tendencies. And it's like, no, there's a line that has to be drawn. And I look at this and I say, you know, Jerry Jones, shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah, he was obviously...
Shame on you.
It was clear he was on the side blocking.
Standing up and saying something about it. And then stepping down as being a Cowboys head, chief of executive, whatever the fuck you are. Because this right here, in my opinion, is something you've been hiding for a long time. And it just got thrown out. And any point of any other time of history, it would have been thrown under the rug and under the table and nothing would have happened. But now we live in a time period that something needs to be done about this. And I hope something's done.
Look, man, if he wants to be called Forrest Gump, that's fine. That's up to everybody else whether they're going to believe whether or not he ended up
Can we say that he is the cunt of the day? Can we just say that?
I mean, it's tough, man. I already crowned Mikey, but I mean, I guess I can defer because you know what, Mikey, we'll let you get away with one. Jerry Jones is more of a cunt than you.
Oh, thank you, because I mean, Mikey is a cunt for Oklahoma City.
He's a little cunt,
but
he's a little cunt, but.
When you're a racist cunt, I mean, that's just a whole new thing.
Cunt. You can't. So, luckily for Mikey, he got pitted up against Jerry Jones this time. Next time, we're gonna get you, Mikey.
When you're pitted up against Hitler,
I see, like I kind of feel like with Jerry Jones right now, like we can get carried away, but to me, this is not the time to say, "Oh, I showed up there out of curiosity." You know what I mean? There's no amount of like showing up with a mob where you can say I was just there for curiosity and get away with it. But he's asking for that type of forgiveness. I think it's interesting that it's more acceptable to stand on that side of a fight than it is to take a knee when the national anthem's being played. But that's Jerry Jones' fucking prerogative, and we're gonna let his track record speak for itself.
Fuck you, Jerry. Go suck on a...
Look, dude, I don't got anything else to say.
Frozen cock.
I just want to leave these up. You got anything you want to
add? Australia won against Denmark, so they're moving on to the World Cup 16. Now you've got Australia, which is our friends from across the pond, and us in the Sweet 16 of sorts. Fun shit going down on the World Cup.
Man. I don't know, man. We've got so much other stuff to talk about. It's been a long time since we got on and we started talking about really all the different things that are going on outside of the Thunder. You know, we got USC looking in there like they're going to be in the top 4, bro. Hoping they lose. That ends that. Patrick Beverley got fucking... suspended for a few games for that thing. That's been a while, though. I think that's probably almost over, man. What else, bro?
I was thinking about it. Like,
Steve Smith Jr. called Baker Mayfield a 3-legged donkey. All right, anyway. Go ahead.
I was on Twitter the other day, man. Just going through my shit and, like, enjoying a good, nice read in Twitter, you know? Like I do once or twice a day when I'm taking good shit.
Yeah.
Like a good shit Twitter time. I'm loving it, right? Anyways, I'm going through it.
I'm loving it.
Like, one of our people that we follow liked a nice pair of tits. Like Twitter tits, man. Twitter tits are great tits.
Get
right?
Twitter paid with those.
And it started making me think like how appreciative I was that I didn't have to go all over Twitter to search for tits. That I could just scroll down and I could see all these people that like tits that are our friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we got the best friends.
Bro, you're about to get shared some tits, bro.
I'm just
People are about to start sending
the
you
dirty
shit,
side
bro.
of Twitter. You know, like that deep dark secret that nobody really talks about Twitter. And then you like, damn, those are some. Yeah. Like
Sometimes I find myself almost like clicking a like, and I'm like, it's not really part of our brand. Is it a part of our brand? Should we start clicking likes?
we're not Doc Rivers, bro.
But you know what though? Maybe Doc should, loosen up a little bit. Obviously, he likes porn. Who doesn't, though?
Welcome to the clubs.
I know, like, everybody watches a little bit of porn.
I like to say everybody does, but like
I know everybody will be like,
let's just say 95% of the world.
Let's say everybody who's normal. I'm sure there are people out there who like to brag about how little porn they watch or they never watch porn. We all feed from the tiny porn. Well, that's not this podcast show.
Oh man, the better, the dirtier it is, the more I like. So
Dave's
keep on
DMs are
sharing
open.
that shit.
Dave's DMs are open, guys.
Good shit, man. Good shit. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to all of our listeners across the world. We do appreciate you guys. If you're listening on the No Offense, check us out at The Last Storm. We have a pretty cool podcast that we keep everything about the Oklahoma City Thunder, minus our dirty jokes that we like to do. So stay tuned for more for that.
Thunder up, baby. We'll see you guys next time.